TenetInspiration.com. 2020 was a rough year if you were a movie fan. There were so many movies that people were looking forward to that we didn't get to see. Whether it was James Bond or the Ghostbusters or Black Widow, our favorite heroes and movie stars, they were kept away from us this year. There were some exceptions. We got Wonder Woman 1984, which, by the way, little mini review, loved it. Don't care what people are saying about it. Oh, it's horrible, it sucks, blah, 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 blah. Loved it. Reminded me of the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, and if you know me, it's about the highest compliment that I can pay a movie. But we're not here to talk about that 2020 release. We're here to talk about another 2020 release. A movie that is unfairly being called the movie that killed cinemas. That feature film is Tenet. I have here my Christopher Nolan collection. This includes the following: Memento, Insomnia, The Prestige, Inception, and finally, Tenet. Tenet was not on my list of things to get. In fact, it wasn't even a movie I was particularly looking forward to. What happened was, in sort of prepping for the end of collecting things, I was using up, if you combine movies, take them and put them into like these 6-disc or 2-disc or 3-disc, whatever, collectible cases, you end up with spare cases. Ones that you just sort of set aside. And I was determined to use up the last of my cases. I had a spare 6-disc, and I thought, I don't own The Following, or I guess it's just called Following. The Following was a TV show, wasn't it? Following, I don't own it, and I did like it, so I would like to get that. If I get that, and I can make a Christopher Nolan set, I can get Tenet. So I decided, last minute, screw it, alright, let's do it. It was a movie that I would have gone to see in the theater anyway, because I do love Christopher Nolan. The trailers just didn't wow me. It wasn't a movie that I was excited for in the way that I was for Inception or Interstellar. It was just a movie that left me kind of cold when I saw the trailer. And I thought, well, it's Nolan. I love Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan hasn't let me down. There's not a single Christopher Nolan movie I haven't enjoyed, including The Dark Knight Rises, which I know is now a popular movie to shit on, but I like it. So I thought, all right, let's get Tenet. Let's give it a chance. Did I like it? Yes. Did I love it? No. Tenet is, to me, what people sometimes say about Inception. One of the things, the criticisms of Inception was, oh, it's confusing, and you go to this level, and this level, and this level, and where are they, and what are they doing? We don't know what it is. From the first time I saw that movie, I never had that problem. I knew what was happening in Inception at all times. I was keeping up with the movie. Tenet, on the other hand, there are moments where it is borderline incomprehensible as far as what is happening. I told my girlfriend about it after I watched it, and she said, oh, what's it about? And I just sort of, well, Uh, there's you can shoot bullets back into your gun, and it's not time travel, but it's kind of time travel. It's a it's a kind of a clusterfuck of a movie in a lot of ways. Entertaining and has the big Christopher Nolan spectacle, but is difficult to get into in a story kind of way. Best I can sum it up. This character who is literally called the protagonist um, is recruited into this secret organization called Tenet. And basically, these people know about the fact that there are objects that are being sent not back in time, but the objects themselves are moving backwards in time. Hence, like, you can fire a bullet back into the gun. It's and they're being sent from the future backwards so that people from the past can get a hold of them and do all sorts of damage with them, to the point where there is the possibility of not only a World War III, but of a World War III using these inverted objects. That's what they call them. Using these inverted objects that would actually shatter time. It would basically make it so that I guess the people in the future think that the past doesn't have to happen in order for the future to still exist, and they want to erase history, because if they do that, then they're living in like global warming and pollution, and polar ice caps have melted and all that stuff. So they think if they erase the past entirely, then all of that stuff resets, which doesn't make any sense, because they think that it's a causality loop, that they'll still exist, because how could they not exist if they're the ones that sent the thing back in time? You know, but at the same time, they think that there'll be repercussions from that. That wouldn't the pollution and the everything that we created in the past and present still exist in the future if that loop still existed? It's a mess. It really is. It's incredibly difficult to explain, and the movie exists, basically as a vehicle for Christopher Nolan's labyrinth-like storytelling. And you know, some people call him the new Stanley Kubrick. Other people would be horrified by that comparison, because Kubrick didn't really make blockbusters. Some of his movies became blockbusters, but they're still 2001: A Space Odyssey or The Shining. They were not designed as blockbusters. Christopher Nolan's movies are always designed as blockbusters. This is no different, and it succeeds in, like I said, the spectacle. When you crash an airplane and it's really happening, when there's a fight scene that's happening backwards, when there's this big battle at the end where some soldiers are moving forwards and others are moving backwards in time. It's all very interesting to watch and very exciting, and you get swept up in it as you're watching it, but it doesn't stick with you. It just left me kind of cold afterwards. It's not a movie that I ran around, like with Inception, with The Dark Knight, where I ran around telling everybody, you have to see this movie. Tenet is fine in a forgettable kind of a way. As for it being the movie that killed cinemas, that's not fair. If it had been released last summer, it probably would have been one of the biggest movies of the year. I mean 2019, summer 2019. It would have been, a huge success. This was an attempt to release a movie and sort of get people to come back to cinemas. Now, in this way, I will take a moment to get a little bit outside of the movie. Christopher Nolan is maybe the most outspoken critic of Warner Brothers deciding to release all of their movies onto HBO Max. You know, he says, my movies are made to be seen in the theater. That's how they need to be seen. Two things about that. First of all, I watched Tenet on this TV. It looked beautiful. I was able to rewind it and go, wait, what the hell happened? And, you know, pause it and get up and go to the bathroom and stuff, which made it easier. If I had seen this in the theater, I would have come out going, what the hell was that? So there's that to begin with. But the second point is, for Christopher Nolan, in the middle of a pandemic, to try and tempt people, hey, I'm releasing one of my movies, my big movies that you guys love. Come on out. Come on out to the movies. Risk your life to come see Tenet. And then he criticizes HBO for releasing, you know, these other big movies onto their streaming service where it's safe. You know, I watched Wonder Woman 1984 in the safety of my home. I didn't risk my life during a pandemic where thousands of people are dying every single day. I didn't risk my life to go see Wonder Woman, and I sure as hell was not going to risk my life to go see Tenet. If you decided you were going to go to the theater, fuck it. I don't think it's that big a problem, or I wore a mask or whatever. I'm not you in that regard. I'm sorry. Scientists don't want us doing this right now. I'm not going to do it. And if Christopher Nolan had cared more about his audience than he did about how his movie has to be seen in theaters, this movie would have been delayed, or it would have come out on HBO Max. I'm sorry. It was a dick move. It was a dick move for Nolan to insist that this movie not only had to come out in theaters, but it had to come out this summer. And then, you know, HBO or people are supposed to rebel. And this is the problem with this whole thing. Christopher Nolan makes money off the back end. He wants his movie seen on the big screen. I have no doubt that he believes that that's where it's supposed to be seen. But again, two things. First of all, that's where it's going to be seen for 3 months. For the rest of time, this is where it's going to be seen on TV. Your movie there's this brief little window of its existence where it's seen on the big screen, and then it's never seen on the big screen again. So to turn around and try and tempt people out for this experience was irresponsible. But the other thing is, Nolan makes money off the back end. The more money the movie makes at the box office, the more money Nolan makes. So he has a financial incentive to get you to go to the theater, to watch Tenet on the big screen, to risk your health, to risk the health of your family, to risk your life, to go see Tenet, so that he makes more money off of it. This man who is a multi-millionaire, this man who is quite possibly the director right now, you know, maybe not critically, but as far as like directors who draw in an audience based on their name alone, Spielberg doesn't even do that anymore. Christopher Nolan is the premier blockbuster filmmaker right now. He knows it. That's why he gets whatever, 10, 15% of the back end, whatever it is. And so for him to throw this tantrum, my movie has to be seen on the big screen, I think I lost respect for him. I lost quite a bit of respect for him. And the fact that Tenet wasn't that great in the end doesn't help my opinion of the man. So, Tenet, 2.5 out of 5 stars. If you want spectacle, Nolan delivers. No doubt about it. He delivers like nobody else does. But it's not his best movie. It's Inception is better. All 3 of the Batman movies are better. Insomnia is better. Dunkirk was better. Memento was better. This would be down. I mean, if Following is maybe like at the bottom of the list of Nolan's accomplishments, only because it was his first movie, so he had a very low budget and everything. If Following is at the bottom, Tenet is just above that. I would put it below every other Christopher Nolan movie other than Following. And really, I'd have to rewatch Following because that was an entertaining, interesting little crime movie. Tenet, as far as like the Christopher Nolan as a directing force movie, it's the worst one he's done so far. 2.5. If you feel like you missed out seeing it in IMAX or seeing it on the big screen, you really didn't.
The worlds. Sort of gave myself the challenge of, okay,